Hey guys, this is my comprehensive list of all of the ways that you can make gold with the new Vykas update that's coming out in June. Since I've introduced this information on my Discord and stream, many items that I've recommended have already gone up 300 to 500% in the last few weeks. If you want to be on the cutting edge of all the market updates and how to flip the Lost Ark economy, feel free to join the community on Discord or check out my stream on Twitch. I stream from 2 p.m. Eastern on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Fridays, and Saturdays, but I'm active on the Discord every day. Anyways, guys, I'm gonna have timestamps below, and after this intro, I go over how to correlate data with different tools, techniques on how to figure out what items will increase in value surrounding updates, and of course, sharing our successes with all of the investments that we made for Voltan. After that, you can dive into the next timestamp that goes into what you should be buying for the release of Vykas, as well as the techniques that you can employ for the Arcana class release that goes alongside with Vykas. My next talking point will be about how to avoid major losses and what updates or patches to look out for, when to sell and when to buy. At the end, I go over a lot of methodology that I use not only in this game, but in real life with the New York Stock Exchange, as well as other games that have markets like World of Warcraft, Black Desert Online, and RuneScape. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching, and if you guys like this video, feel free to subscribe as I'll be posting more videos like this in the future. Added buy pressure from Vykas is going to cause all of these commodities to go up in value, and if you're bringing up all the commodities that create these consumables to go up in value, well, guess what? Consumables will go up in value as well across the board because the base material that is used to create these consumables is now higher in value. And you can see a lot of correlations for this price action using the market website, right? Obviously, if the materials are very expensive to make an item, the item will become more expensive. Now, it's not always true, because if there's not a very high demand for said item, you know, sometimes it lags behind a little bit, right? But if there's a decent demand for this item, it's going to go up in tandem with the value of the commodities, right? And now we can even take a look at, you know, as a secondary example, we can take a look at meat. And let's go with thick raw meat, okay? Because this correlates very heavily with the prices of the herb steaks, right? Here we are. This shit used to, before really Voltan came out, this stuff was, you know, lows of 20 gold. And now when people started to need these steak meals, it went up exponentially. So look at the correlations between this, okay? Okay, well, people aren't keeping track of the herb steaks because, again, nobody thinks about this stuff. So it doesn't. I can't correlate the data here because it doesn't exist. But I was playing at the time, and I was making herb steak meals for what cost me 120 gold, and then when Voltan came out, correlating with the meat prices skyrocketing, Master's herb steak meals were going from 350 to 390 gold because the prices of meat was so fucking elevated, right? So at the very least, I can show you, like, at the very least I can show you when that happened. And for those of you that were there, for those of you that were tracking it in the Discord, when you guys were asking me, oh, what should I make? What should I craft? And you guys saw me making, you know, these steak meals for 3 weeks up to Voltan. You know, you guys would have seen this as well, right? So look at this, a high of 71. Well, what do you think happens to these meals when the price goes up to 71 gold from 20, right? To go like that's crazy. But so anyways, we're gonna keep going here. I just wanted to show a couple of examples of, you know, looking at the trends in the market and seeing how even such a simple boss like Voltan affected the prices of all of these consumables and commodities in the market. And now we're gonna have double the amount of buy pressure, double the amount of demand, hypothetically, when they release Vykas. Now, Vykas obviously is a different boss in Voltan, whereas Voltan knocks you off and you die and you don't really use very many health potions. Vykas is going to be different. Vykas, you are going to be using your splendid HP potions. And if you look right here, there hasn't really been that much price movement, right? There hasn't been very much price movement. There's been a little bit. Oh shit, let me just do this here. There hasn't been very much price movement as there has been with the elemental. They're just the regular elemental HP potions. But again, this is still up. I think these were selling for maybe 50, 60 gold before Voltan. Now they're at 85. And again, they are only going to go up in value. Look, there's no quantity here. when there actually comes a demand, these things are gonna fucking skyrocket. Now you're obviously gonna need to correlate the prices of these splendid HP potions with the elemental HP potions with these healing battle item chests, but you cannot get splendid HP potions from Mari's store. So, you know, take this with a grain of salt, because even at the prices right now, you get 15 of these for 25, 15 of those for 25 is, you know, you look at the price of gold and then you can do the calculations yourself. If you want to check in the future, to see what you need, it's a very simple process. You go here to YouTube and you just type in Vykas guide. All right. Like, this is what I do. Like, you can ask your friends, whatever. You know, you can ask streamers like, hey, what items am I going to need?
Whirlwind and
Here you go. All right, so phase 1, you're gonna need health potions, whirlwinds, time stop. Phase 1 is whirlwind grenades, time stops, HP potions, and then what is that? The robe with swiftness or some shit. It's like, well, that's so simple. Like, obviously, like, that makes sense. Like, obviously I could have done that. It's like, yeah, well, then why didn't you? Why don't you already have like 5 stacks of 99999 sleep? Why do I keep calling it sleep potions? Sleep bombs. Last edited on May 27th, and that, you know, was a couple of weeks ago now. When I first wrote this was the 3rd week, maybe just a little bit before the 3rd week, where everyone was going to be able to create their weapon, their relic weapon, with the 3rd week of Voltan. So we had preemptively said, okay, well, what do you buy once all of the whales who didn't manage to get an extra box of bones, what are these people going to be doing at that 3rd week? What items are going to go up in value because of the whales? And on NA East, the most prevalent to have RM tiers and huge whales that spend a lot of money, right? It's just like, I think that's a pretty common fact, is that NA East has a lot of people who spend a lot of money on the game, right? So on different servers like NA West and SA and EUC, you might see maybe a slower reaction to the market of like whales, or maybe like the prices aren't as volatile. When Voltan first came out, and obviously we have a sheet for this as well. All right, this was the 1st week of May. Last edit was on May 8th. You know, there were lots of items that went up. Okay, so Powder of Sage, it hit 290. Splendids, the Panaceas were 30. HP potions were 43. Mushrooms, you know, like, everything was hella cheap and everything went up. So I can go do a brief overview. Honor Shard pouches, 23 gold for smalls. They're now 100 gold. This was the super list that I gave out on my, you know, the VIP Discord or whatever. Atrophians were 17 gold. They're now at 40. And obviously these are now at the, like, flatlining week per week. And there was way more volatility with these items when Voltan first released. Say things like meats went up to, I think, like 10 gold. They're now sitting around 8. Yeah, there was a spike for Honor leapstones. I believe it went to as high as like 130, 140, but, you know, obviously now back again. These markets are very organic. You got to make sure that you're there to sell and catch your window. Don't be greedy, right? Pigs get slaughtered, as we say. Solars are up huge. Obviously, before difficult content comes out, prices are lower, right? And Voltan isn't that difficult of a boss. Vykas is going to be much more difficult, and you're going to see health potions, HP potions go up in value like crazy. The time to buy was obviously, you know, what was it, a few weeks ago now, I think, that they were at 5,000 gold when I first, you know, said to buy them. So also, if you don't believe me that I said that, Friday, the old mark my words, I was making a video on this, and I accidentally deleted the video of Friday, right? And this was May 6th. So I said, price is going to go down, then go up after Voltan, Cloud specifically, but all pets, yeah. So this, you could have bought at 5K, like Voltex did, and sold them for, I think they were up at 15,000 gold the last time I checked, which is a 300% return. Pretty good 300% return. For about a month of waiting is not too bad, but it's, again, we do compound interest trades here. You can use a lot of this information to kind of, like, that I have here on the market overview, to assess what's going to go up with the Vykas release. When Vykas releases, okay, there is probably going to be a new class that comes out. I believe it's going to be the artist. And so you have to take two things into account. Okay, you have to take into account that a new class is being released and what kind of buy pressure that's going to create. And you're also going to have to take into consideration the new Vykas raid and, you know, what items you need. So Arcana, not Artist. Okay, so it's Arcana. Okay, so depending on what they release for the new class, you know, because sometimes they release new content and new power passes, new express events, new different honing material events when they release a new class. It is often wise to stock up on T1 and T2 honing materials, as since release, these items have shot up at least 200% for every release between lows and peaks. Sea Life, Leapstones, you know, 15 to 38 gold, Moon's Breaths, 5 to 25 gold, yada, yada, yada. I would probably wait for them to like keep going down in value. Like as today is the, you know, today is June 11th, and I think there's probably a little bit more room for prices to go down because we just had Destroyer release, so the prices are elevated from that. But you know, that's something to consider, is to buy in at the right time. The thing to consider is buying in at the right time for T1 and T2 materials. But obviously, if they're going to release a power pass and an express event for the new class, it's unwise to buy into. So, right? Because you could shoot yourself on the foot, like with what happened when Glavier released. Okay, so my second point is always consider supply and demand. When a new class releases, there will be a large demand to get those characters to T3, but you must also consider these events and power passes as a quantifiable increase of supply. Obviously, if you have a power pass that skips T1 and T2, you will not see as much of an increase in price due to that power pass. Instead, you will see market sentiments shift and actually drop the price of these items that you are looking to sell. Supply and demand. Consider all variables and factors before investing, and make sure that you are on the pulse and watching AGS release new content so you do not get caught holding the bag and you're ready to purchase if the projected supply for these items are not found to have any basis in the newest updates. So that also leaves a lot of room to buy in back into the market of T1 and T2 items if the market sentiment suddenly shifts and they sell tons and tons and tons of these items for cheap, right? So like, say everyone bought in and then they come have news that a new express event is out. Everyone's going to be selling because the value is dropping, and it's going to, you know, it's going to plummet. It's just going to absolutely plummet. But you can actually pick up these items at the bottom, and then a week later or 2 weeks later, you sell these items and you're going to make a fucking mint, right? So there's, even when there's a big loss of price, that's a perfect, like, you got to buy the rumor, right? And the rumor is that the prices will equalize and go up in value because it's dropped way too dramatically for the actual value of the item. So you can, even when prices go down, there's still room to make a lot of gold. So you know, the example that I always think of and bring up is the Glavier release, and they released the Arc Pass, Express Event, and the Life Shard Crystal Daily Login Reward, which dropped the price 350% roughly on NA East. Again, Wednesday night the update was released, and if you didn't catch that update the night before, you lost 350% of your total assets in Life Shards. And again, everyone you know, Stoops and Zeals and Saint One and stuff, they're saying, well, your biggest limiting factor is going to be life shards. So everyone bought life shards, like a bunch of mouth breathers, and then they got caught with their pants down. And I told people, sell your shit. But people, they're like, oh, I'll take my risk, and then they lost everything. They lost their shirt, and I didn't really feel bad for them. But anyways, you need to make sure that you're aware of when updates come out from AGS, and if you're not prepared to be on the pulse, you can expect to lose a large portion of your investments if you're not careful. Trading around updates can be very dangerous if you don't pay attention to the newest information releases by the gaming company, right? Then I go a bit into more detail here with accessories. When new classes come out, if they can require different engravings and stat lines for best in slot that are currently not in use by any other character, if you buy these accessories that are best in slot for the new class, you can expect to buy them fairly cheap before the new class comes out and make huge profits for when they are released, and players have pushed their eye levels to then wear those accessories you purchased. Okay, if a worthless accessory becomes best in slot for the newest class, price is gonna go up, boys. Simple. The next question you should ask is, how do I find out what that new class needs to be best in slot? And then you buy those, right? Before people catch a whiff. You got to be ahead of the curve with shit like that, right? Insane amounts of gold can be made if you play it properly, but a bit of a risk if you don't understand the accessory market. yeah, that's really fair to say. Okay, so gems always go up when new classes are released every time. Look to either sell gems a week before release or of the class, or use your pass on the new character to then use silver to refast your gems to make huge profits on selling T3 gems. So what you can do is if you have a character that's in tier 2 that used a faint power pass on, or I think it's after Yorn, you can then refast gems in tier 3. But yeah, so you bring your character up, and as soon as the new class releases, a lot of whales are going to be looking for like level 7, level 8, level 9 tier 3 gems, level 10 tier 3 gems, and you can take, you know, maybe a strike, like a shitty striker gem or a shitty you know, shadow hunter gem, and can refacet it to the best gem that, you know, the Arcana, like the best gem that the Arcana needs. It's going to be a little bit expensive on silver, but you could see insane returns. I mean, you don't even have to have a good gem, and you can sometimes double or triple the gem value, right? So if you buy a a level 5 tier 3 gem, and you refacet it so that it's even like a basic or just like a regular gem for Arcana, you can sometimes sell it for like 3, 4, 5,000 gold, from which was originally 1,000 gold gem, right? This is a tactic that I've used in the past with Glavier. Worked really well. You gotta be on the pulse, and you gotta make sure that you maybe even undercut, right? Because if you don't undercut, and the prices, like, since from release, prices of gems for that new class will drop, right? So you don't have a lot of time to make these massive profits. You gotta be there, and you gotta be one of the first guys, you know, in the first couple days selling these tier 3 gems, or you're gonna see your profit ratios shrink, right? And that's true. I mean, if you look at Glavier gems right now, you're gonna see that as being true, right? Or even destroyer gems. So now it's I'm gonna go on to this next point. So how do you prepare for new raids and best gold method? So this isn't just specifically for Vykas. I didn't want to talk about just specifically for Vykas. I wanted to give you guys like the information and like the strategies, methodologies, techniques, whatever you want to call it, to figure it out on your own, right? Like, you guys shouldn't need me to tell you what to buy, and you guys shouldn't need me to, you know, assist you in this. But like, if you know these techniques, right, and that's kind of the goal, is to have you guys become self-sufficient. So what do you get from a new raid is a question, right? Does it give you more relic pieces to upgrade? Will that increase the price of honing materials? That's a great question. I mean, I'm the one who wrote it down, so obviously it's good. What consumables do you need for said raid, right? And we talked earlier about how you can figure that information out. How difficult is the new raid? Are you actually going to be going through all of these consumables, or is it just like yeah, you kind of need them, but we're gonna clear it the first time? Like, the fight's gonna get, you know, maybe the first week is gonna be difficult, but then it's gonna be normalized and it's gonna be really easy. Everyone's gonna know the fight. It's not difficult. Then we talk about what kind of fight is this new raid. Is it a lot of HP potions? Will the fight get easier over time, or be a concentrate on consumables? Voltan easy, one-shot max, no HP potions needed. There you go. Like, that's why we didn't see a huge increase on HP potion price. But even still, we did see about a 20 or 30. Yeah, we saw about a 30 or 40% increase on elemental HP potions, and now actually they're up to 40 gold. So it's now at 100% you know, increase of price for elemental HP potions. Not but no one was using Splendid, so we didn't really see that much of a dramatic increase on Splendid HP potions. Splendids went up maybe 15-20%, so that was a little bit unfortunate for this. But what commodities do you need for the consumables? Is it worth buying these commodities, right? Is the price of these commodities already so high and already so elevated because of market sentiment, or is there room for you to buy in and make some gold, right? So that's a question that you need to ask. So we'll do just, like, this is pretty basic, this is pretty simple, but we'll go over it anyways, because this is really boiled and dumbed down. Commodities are what make consumables, okay? For those of you that don't fucking know, commodities make consumables with your workshop, okay? Consumables are what you use when you're doing stuff in the game that require consumables. Things make you use some consumables, and things make you use other consumables. So Voltad requires destruction bombs. Vykas does not. Okay, value of consumables go up when demand is high. Think destruction bombs, herb steak for Voltan release. Like, we saw the prices of these all go up very dramatically. Destruction bombs you could buy for 11 gold, 10 gold, 12 gold. And they went up to, I think at its highest, it was something crazy. It was 20 gold plus for sure. So that's an easy double up. The value of proxy commodities go up in relation if quantity cannot be sustained at elevated levels of consumables. Think mushrooms, meat, correlating with destruction bombs and herb steaks, okay? So destruction bombs went up in value like crazy, and then mushrooms went up to correlate. Herb steaks went up in value like crazy because there was a high demand, and so people needed to craft them. Then there was a high demand for crafting, and that created a high demand for commodities. So as new content releases that will need other consumables to progress, you can expect to see these consumables go up in value in relation to difficulty of said content and demand. Also, it's important to buy the rumor, sell the news. I was buying sleep. I keep fucking writing potions. It's not potions. It's bombs, boys. It's bombs. Yeah, buying sleep bombs at 11 gold, and they spiked to 1820 gold during Vykas roadmap release. Be ahead of the curve. Sell to the shift of market sentiment. Easy profits. So something also that happened was like I bought all the fucking sacred bombs and clay grenades and all these other bombs that were going to be needed for GVG. And even things like Lutheran's Horn, I was buying for like 11 gold. I sold Lutheran's Horns for like 35 gold with GVE that came out. I sold my sacred bombs. I was selling clay bombs for GVG for 37 gold. So that was almost like a 30 or 350% increase, roughly. Like it's pretty good. So things to note when talking about consumables is like, okay, well, there's Fever Time event rewards, right? Yes. And there's a weekly trade around Fever Time event rewards. All right, I'll just read this over. Fever Time event rewards, weekly trade around that shit. Buy when Fever event is out, sell when it's not out. Sell when weekly reset occurs due to higher demand from people running weeklies on their character. Buy when market supply is saturated and there's no demand. Be mindful of GVG and busting strats, and also when these events and timings occur. So what I mean by that is when you get a Fever Time event, okay, and you get a bunch of potions and you get a bunch of grenades, you are not buying grenades and potions off the marketplace because you have them. You got them for free from the Fever event. So that means that there's going to be, for a time, a higher supply going into the market, which drops the price, which means you can buy them cheaper. And then when there's like a certain amount of time where you can't sell, when there's a certain amount of time after that Fever Time event where you can't get any more of these free fucking HP potions, the value is going to go up. So that's another weekly thing that you can be doing. That's just it's just a pattern that happens every week. Like it's not rocket science, boys. I go further into that with the market overview, but I talk about all of the different flips. I didn't go into them, right? I didn't talk and go into depth with each of these tactics, but like, you should be able to get the gist, and if you're a newer player and you don't understand the gist of these different tactics, like, feel free to ask. I'll be happy to answer them. Obviously, after I'm done doing this because I'm kind of busy at the moment finishing this Vykas sheet. Half an hour ago or 20 minutes ago, we watched the videos that are out on YouTube, the guides, phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. We looked, okay, you need whirlwind grenades, time stops, HP potions, swiftness robes, and sleep bombs, right? So with Vykas coming out, we're going to see these items go up in value. When these items go up in value, commodities are going to go up in value. Okay? The commodities that make these items will go up in value, right? And if everyone's making sleep bombs, there is a good chance that other consumables will go up in value, okay? Because everyone stopped making them, right? So there's a lower supply because everyone's making sleep bombs. And if there's a lower supply on other items, those items are also going to go up in value, right? Does that make sense? Okay. So these are some of the commodities that I would focus on. I mean, I've been buying mushrooms for a little bit. You could buy ores, you could buy flowers. It's a pretty damn safe bet to buy flowers and HP potions, right? Like these are just going up and up and up with flowers. What's a good price for this? I would say, buy these for 2 or 3 gold. There's still some time before Fall Town releases. I mean, if you really want to buy them for 4 gold, go ahead. Like these are all bumping, Like these were at 14 gold. I don't know how many people are watching my stream and starting to buy up mushrooms. I don't know how many people are watching my stream starting to buy up flowers and ores and different things that you need for these consumables. But yeah. There's great potential because not only do you have to ask yourself, well, will this item go up in value? That's the wrong question, okay? You need to be asking yourself, is there a reason that these items will go down in value when this new content releases and there's all of this demand? Why would this item go down in value? well, maybe they're gonna make some mushroom bots. I don't fucking know. That's always a thing that could occur. But as of right now, I mean, we've seen flowers going up for the longest time, and there hasn't been any bots that came in gathering flowers and mushrooms to make a dent in the demand that is required for all of these consumables. So that's not to say that there won't be any in the future, but that's, you know, something to be aware of, right? We're gonna go over RMT and what that means for the state of the game, and for Vykas. So RMT whalers have a cheaper discount on gold than they have had in the last couple of months. A lot of people are buying more shit. It's 80 cents for 1K as opposed to $3 for 1K. So it's 30% of what it used to cost. So if gold is becoming cheaper for those that are willing to RMT, the prices of many items that they need will continue to inflate as there is an ever increasing demand on those items as gold loses its inherent value. Hopefully that makes sense for you guys. So now we have all these whalers. They're able to buy 200,000, 300,000, 500,000 gold for for some schmeckles. It used to cost $300 for 100,000 gold. Now it's obviously way less. Now it's $80 for 100,000 gold. So because people are buying all of this cheap gold, and spending it on solars and honing pouches and destruction stones, these items are going to go up in value, right? Because gold is kind of losing its value. That's one of the reasons why there's this price elevation. Not the only reason, mind you, because there is real demand for these items, but you also have to consider how much gold is being bought from these like G2G websites and whatever they're called. But so let's talk about a little bit about honing materials. What happens when Vykas is released? Well, the last 2 items that many characters in Lost Ark need will be released and available with Vykas. Many whalers and players with big pockets will then be able to further enhance their plus 20 armor. Their gear, which is most likely to be armor, because most whalers already got their weapon from Voltan week 3, or a lot of them did get it from week 2. That's why we saw a lot of prices for destruction crystals elevate. T3 destructions elevate pretty high. We did that flip. That was pretty good. What does that mean for T3 Guardian Stones, Solars, and Honor Shard pouches? It means that there is this likely potential for these items to have a decent upside. Oh shit, I didn't even have that fucking open for you guys. Sorry about that. So let's take a look at these Guardian Stones, right? Yeah, so these are very, very cheap. Will they stay cheap when Vykas comes out and people buy their pieces of gear that they need, their relic gear to keep pushing to plus 25? I don't know. There is a chance. There's a good chance that it will, right? The whalers, at least on NA East, they spend a lot of fucking money. They spend a lot of gold, and this is kind of this is the point that we're at there, where this is the rumor, right? Do you want to buy into the rumor that Guardian Stone crystals will go up with whalers? Because you're basically only just relying on whalers to pump, right? And of course you are relying a little bit, or moderately. You're relying moderately on people pumping to get to 1460, which is fair, right? People are going to try to push for 1460, and most people that are pushing for 1460 are going to need Guardian Stone crystals. You might see a bump for destruction crystals as well. The ball bounce theory of prices, how markets work, how the volatility, it's going to shoot way up and then drop once it hits a peak, and when it goes down all the way to the floor, it's going to bounce, and you can actually catch the bounces. You can catch near the floor and sell again before, while it's bouncing. Right, I'm gonna do a whole video on the ball bounce theory later on. That can be explained in depth later. Supply and demand. Consider everything. Chances are, if you bought into something and you lost, it's because you didn't consider one of the factors, right? And that's why what we try to do at RFG, we try to talk on the Discord all the time, discussing all of these different items that are moving. We talk about bots and RMT, and we talk about inflation using Mari's store as an indicator. There's so many different indicators that you can use, and that's why we try to cover. Leave no stone unturned. If you lost, it's probably your own fault. Chances are you didn't consider a very important piece of the puzzle that you missed, and you ended up losing. But inflation and deflation of currency and how that affects prices. Again, this third point. RMT prices, how to shift gears. So yeah, being on the pulse, right? When you see a forum post that says, we will be nerfing this thing, right? Sell instantly. Or if we're going to be buffing this item, buy as fast as you can before everyone else jumps on it, right? And then after you buy in early, like maybe 5 minutes after the post, and then you sell. You get, maybe you can even sell like a day later and get huge upside, right? So always diversify your portfolio. If you're wrong in one thing, you don't want to lose all of your money. Buying into items that have already jumped 200% is a bad idea most of the time. Look for items that haven't jumped yet. That's just in general a good rule. I think it was like Wednesday or Tuesday, the day before Voltan was coming out, and I was like, man, and Destroyer coming out as well, right? And I was like, man, Life Leapstones haven't moved. They've been 15 gold for the last like 3 weeks, a month. Why haven't Life Leapstones moved, right? And so I think I spent about 80,000 gold on Life Leapstones for 15 gold. And then I managed to sell. I was very fortunate. I caught pretty much the absolute top, and I sold them for I think either 37 or 38 gold a pop. So I was really happy with that, so there was still room. There was room to buy the rumor, so look out for those. Sell on the way up, buy on the way down. Sell in batches if you are selling the way down to mitigate losses. Try not to sell on the way down. If you get caught with your pants down and you held on too long, you're fucked. But like, this is a way to mitigate losses. And again, we always talk about this. Bulls make money, bears make money, pigs get slaughtered. Don't be greedy. Have a plan. If you want to make 30% on an item, just make 30%. Don't push for 50% and then end up losing your shirt. And you actually, instead of being able to make 30% consistently, you ended up trying to hold for a 70% profit, and you actually ended up losing 20% because you missed the top. And then you try to sell on the way down, and of course you aren't going to manage to sell on the way down because people are undercutting you because the item has lost its value, right? Have a plan. Know why you are buying these items, and have a plan to when to sell. Don't just mindlessly copy what people are doing. Don't just mindlessly be like, oh, someone's buying all this, and then you're sitting there not knowing why you bought this item, or what the mechanisms of the market that were the justifications for this person you're following to buy these items. Like, know what the fuck you're buying these items for, and then have a plan on what you're going to sell them for. Because if you know why you're buying them, you're also going to know when to sell them, right? And that was a huge problem with the redfish, is because people bought this item, they never ended up even looking at why they were, when or how or why they were supposed to sell, right? It's like people bought redfish at 1 gold but didn't sell their carps when they were selling for 16 gold, which is again like almost a triple bagger. You know what I mean? It's like, how the fuck did you, like? And then I'm getting comments on my YouTube channel where people are like, I bought red flesh fish and I sold it all back. What a waste of time, scam. It's like, bro, I'm literally looking right now, and carps are selling for 15 gold. Like, you idiot. I'll buy all your redfish from you and then sell for triple because you bought in without knowing why, and you didn't follow the story. So anyways, that's my little mid-sesh bitch. But yeah, be ahead of the curve. Buy the rumor, sell the news. Powders may go up. Buy powders at 150 gold. Sell at 290 before new content releases. Now again, this was a good deal. I was in on that. I think I had 1,000 powders, and that was a good flip. I was happy. I didn't get greedy. I didn't hold, trying to expect that the fucking value is gonna skyrocket. And I also sold before the new content released, right? But anyways, never flip on updates. Sell before designated sell days. So again, if you're supposed to sell on Wednesday, if everyone says, oh, well, Wednesday's the best day to sell, well, guess what, motherfucker? You sell on Tuesday, okay? Because if everyone knows the best day to sell is on Wednesday, then everyone's selling on Wednesday, and now you're in this process where the price is shooting down and the supplies are going up, and you're like, okay, well, that's kind of dumb. I'll sell a day before. So you can trade on market sentiments, right? And then again, you can buy on people's sells days, on the days that people sell. So if everyone's selling on Wednesday because Wednesday's the best day to sell, that's when you buy, right? And like, obviously I'm talking about chaos gates, and there's obviously a lot of different justifications, and there's a lot of different things happening around chaos gate items, so it's not always true. I'm just speaking in general terms. When I say consider all the facts, as a general rule of thumb, you want to trade against market sentiment, right? So I think that's easy. So like, say for example, fish comes out, everyone's saying buy fish, buy common fish, buy the fish, right? Buy Stoops's fish, the common, as they say, the common fish. And so you buy them all at that's what we did. We bought them all like 2-3 gold a stack, and then it's like, it's gonna get to 200 gold, it's gonna get to 200 gold, it's 200 gold in fucking Korean markets. And then I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna sell at 50. I'm gonna sell when when it's at its hypiest, you know. I'm gonna sell while people are still buying at 50, 60 gold, and I'm gonna laugh because I bought this for fucking peanuts, you know. And that was one of the first things that got me started when like a bit decent following was the fact that I called the fish crash of 2022. The great fish crash. Choosing which trades to take based on amount of liquidity that you have available, as well as quantity in the market. So some trades are not good to take if you have a low amount of gold. Some trades do not have sufficient quantity if you have too much gold. Example, having 2 million gold and buying common fish to flip for 30% returns is not great, but it could be a way for someone with smaller capital to flip. So if you see that destruction bombs are selling for 14 gold on Thursdays, and you see that destruction bombs are selling for 11 gold on Tuesdays, well, if you have 800,000 gold, you can buy stacks and stacks and stacks of these, destruction bombs at 11 gold. And yeah, it might not be great profit, but per click, you're making, say you make 2 gold a sale after market tax, and you can buy 999 of them. Well, you're actually making 2,000 gold a click because you can buy a stack of almost 1,000, right? So that's the difference, right? It's like, sure, you only make 2 gold, but you're able to buy 999 of them. And again, that's why I don't really like trading common fish as much unless I see something huge happening, because common fish, you can only buy a stack of 9. So like at the end of the day, if you per click, even if it triples in value, you're making fucking nothing, right? It's like, it's a pain in the ass. But that might be good. That might be good if you don't have a lot of gold, right? But anyways, then we talk about ROI versus time to sell. Compound interest with shorter sell times can be more profitable than longer holds with higher returns. So compound interest, that means that if you hold on to a skin for 2 months and you make 50 to 80%, well, maybe it would have been better to buy all of these weekly flips for 10 to 15% for 3 weeks, and you would come out with a lot more gold because you have compound interest on your side, even though it doesn't at first glance look as good as like these huge flips, right? But anyways, that's I guess really long-winded version of saying like buy accessories, buy gems before they go up in value, and then resell them. And then we have commodities and consumables going up. And again, like I said, by proxy, a lot of the commodities and consumables that are involved in Voltan will also go up, right? So this is what you can do now, even though it's a little late. If you guys didn't watch my stream, I know that I'm going to be posting this on YouTube, but if you guys want up-to-date information, like I don't know, what was it, a week and a half ago, I said I'm going to spend all my gold on pouches, and now it's it went from 43 gold. I think it went from 43 gold to now it's at over 100. If you want that kind of information, you're gonna have to follow my stream, or check the Discord, send me a message, whatever, like Be Wild did, where he asked me what I would do with my gold at the time. But yeah, that basically covers it. If you want to see the document, I'll have a link. It's also going to be on Twitch. And then if you want the market overview, where I talk about a lot of other things like techniques on how to sell skins and cosmetics and all that other bullshit, it's all in this document. So yeah, cool. That's the market overview, boys. What do you think of that?